Hello everyone and welcome. So we are going to start free DevOps course. This is very important and you will learn a lot of things. And if you are development background, if you are back from Linux background, or if you are for the DevOps or SRE background, definitely it will help very useful for your bright future, right? You will about the more confident how to switch with the most package and different tool how you can grab. So we will learn all these things in this particular course, right? So what I will cover in this DevOps course, definitely I will start from the Linux first. Okay, so I will complete Linux, complete 0 to master level program, and after that I will start AWS cloud, and further we will learn in AWS 2025 latest console, right? So we will learn step by step in all these uh, tutorial with a real-time scenario, right? So first things, if you are learning DevOps, definitely what is the prerequisites to learn these DevOps tool, right? Or how we can upgrade yourself. If you don't know about the concept of the DevOps in current year 2025, right? Because a lot of learning uh, student they are confused, we are not getting job because already we have done course from X or Y place or X institute or Y institute, we are not getting job. So what I can do now, because of lack of knowledge or lack of confidence, because they have completed the course 20% or 30%, now still they are confused to getting job in marketing 2025 or 2026 coming year, right? So what is our main goal to this course? What I will cover, I will discuss in scratch level as well. So this is the day first. In day first we will discuss about the fundamental of the Linux, right? But still I'm going to discuss little bit about the DevOps, right? If you are learning DevOps, complete with the right content or real-time industry based content, definitely you are the right channel. You need to subscribe or share with your friends, so I will create more and more tutorials, so easily it will help for you as well as your friends also, right? So because you know the DevOps is vast, huge and booming technology nowadays, right? So if you don't know how to learn, so just you can follow these simple tutorial step by step and you can learn, right? Okay, now come to the point about the operating system, about the Linux, right? So first I will discuss what is Linux and why we need to learn about the Linux, right? So everything we will learn in from the scratch level, right? Okay, now come to the point. What is operating system? Number one things. Okay, if you are learning, if you are working professional, if you are in a college, or if you are preparing whatever, anywhere you are learning from X or Y place, so definitely you heard about the operating system. So why I'm going to discuss about the what is basic operating systems important, because already you might have learned a lot of things, right? You know about the physical component of any computer or any hardware. You know the physical component, right? You know the CPU, memory, motherboard, like this, network interfaces. These are the simple, you can say these are the hardware, right? Like that CPU and memory, right? Network device, right? So these are the hardware. But how you are interact these hardware, definitely because you are working, you are the user, right? We are the users. Okay, how user interacting this, right? With the help of application, definitely they are using application, or with the help of these two they are using different, suppose you want create a folder or you want create any file. So how you can interact this? Number one thing, suppose we are the user. Okay, so as per real work, user will create some folder or some file like these kind of things, right? Definitely there is a day-to-day activities or day-to-day work, or it will create or delete, or it will work on particular commands like this. So user will do these tasks inside the server or inside the particular machine, right? But what is meaning of app? Suppose you are using YouTube application or WhatsApp, right? So definitely when you are using any kind of app, so it will use some space, memory or space, definitely. So definitely there is a hardware occupy. So definitely user or both, they will interact with the hardware, because both are not able to interact with the hardware. Because suppose this is the application, imagine you are the working, or you are learning Python, or you are learning C++, right? So how to manage CPU this program? So you cannot use simple hello world. So definitely you will use, because directly hello world, it will not interact with the hardware, definitely. Similarly, as a user, you cannot directly interact with physical component. You at least need one, you need to use the graphical user interface or command line interface. Two things required, but both of them not provided by the hardware. Definitely, because of this reason, both of the act as a interact with the hardware. But if as a layer, intermediate layer, suppose if I am going to cross one layer here, right? Operating system. So operating system, it will help, right? So operating system, it will help. And what is operating system? So simple, you can understand, this is the simple a software program, or simple a kind of program. This is the operating system. And these hardware, we how we can use hardware with the help of operating system, that's it. So it can perform basically process management or performance management, right? Memory management, device management, disk management, right? And network management, space management, and security management as well, right? So it will talk to the operating system, means if you are using this, so this operating system depends on the program, it will allocate into the CPU, or what kind of program we are using or we deploy, this doesn't matter, right? So it will allocate to the memory, and as per the required, it will use the particular resources, right? So definitely it will interact with the hardware, or software interact with hardware through the operating system. In both the case, definitely with the help of operating system, we can use particular resources, CPU or RAM, whatever, with the help of these things, right? So as a user, we cannot interact with the operating system. Why? Yes, but what operating system is used to, especially for the user, they provide a additional layer. You know what is the layer means? Simple, just you need to understand the GUI, graphical user interface, or command line interface. So if you take Windows operating system or Linux operating system, it will work, both of them. Suppose if you are using Linux operating system, so you need to focus more and more about the command line, CLI. And if you are using Windows, so you need to focus on graphical user interface. Clear? So mainly we need to focus on CLI, because 95% industry focus on command line or Linux operating system, right? So these are the basic terms you need to understand, right? Now come to the point. What is the definition of operating system? So operating system is an intermediate software layer that access or interact between software or hardware, just in simple, or interact with user or hardware. This is the operating system, right? So if you are a user, this is your hardware, you want interact, so in between or intermediate there is a OS, and different OS is available in the market, right? So we will learn more about this. So you want access this hardware, interact with hardware, OS is very important, operating system, that's it, right? So as a user, or we are using any command, suppose via command line, if you are using mkdir command, so definitely we will interact via hardware and we can get some output. Let's see the example. I am going to open cmd. This is my windows cmd and I'm going to use here ls command, right? So I'm getting one output. So these command not work, or if I am using cd command, definitely it will work. So these command I am using in the command line in CLI base, I am getting some output who manage, because with the help of, see, one more thing you need to understand, the operating system and what is kernel we will learn in particular in Linux theoretical part, right? So one more thing I am going to discuss, the history of the operating system, not Linux, but you need to understand, right? So see, first of all, what is Linux, right? No need to go back, just you need to understand. If someone asks what is Linux, so definitely you will reply, sir, this is the operating system, or maybe you might be heard from someone, or you search from the Google, you heard about the operating system, right? This is the operating system. Or maybe this is the kernel, if you heard about. So what is the actual definition of Linux, right? What is the actual meaning of Linux? Just you need to understand, Linux is not the operating system. Linux is a kernel. Just you can say this is the kernel. And what is meaning of kernel? So kernel is heart of the operating system or center part of the operating system, right? Heart of OS. Suppose we are using Linux. We are not using Linux kernel, right? Because Linux launched in the market by Linus Torvald 1991, right? By Linus Torvalds. He is the founder and CEO, right? So when you will go back before 1991, you heard about the Unix operating system, right? So no need to go back these kind of things. Just you need to understand the concept of the Linux and how you can learn all these commands. These are the important, right? So Linux is just the name of the kernel. What is kernel? Heart of the operating system, right? And definitely you heard a lot of things, sir, Linux is free, right? Definitely this is the open source, right? And highly secure, right? Multi-user, multitasking, right? You heard about these things. But how you can apply these things? This is the free or open source. Number one, this is free. Free means you need to understand the concept of Linux kernel, because in the market 1990 before, there is the Unix is very costly, no one can use because it's very costly. So if you want to use Linux or Unix, you cannot prefer or you cannot purchase because in the market very cost. So Linus Torvald launched Linux kernel, and it's mentioned completely free. Free means anyone can learn, you can learn, I can learn, company can use, definitely. So number one thing is heart of the operating system, and it's a free, And second one is the open source. What is meaning of open source? Let's understand the concept of the open source. Suppose we are using Windows, right? Suppose I want some changes. Okay, so this is Windows terminal, right? I am using one command here, mkdir, enter, or use mkdir. It will not work, syntax error, because this is the kernel of Windows. This is the kernel of Windows, not the kernel of Windows. This is the terminal of Windows. Via CLI I am executing this command, right? But I am discussing open source. See, Linux is a kernel. What is kernel? Just nothing, heart of the operating system. If you are using Windows or 10, 11 or 12 and you are going to apply something, okay, so suppose I am using one mkdir command. Okay, so I'm not getting output because in the kernel there is no any program added particular kernel of the Windows. There is no any code and program is mentioned in this kernel, right? Suppose I am going to use one software and I have made one program, and this program I want apply particular OS, Windows or Linux OS. How we can use? Definitely we need to one operating system. Suppose Windows operating system made by Microsoft, right? I want changes some program and I want add in Windows operating system so that many users can use this my program, right? Is it possible? No, it's not possible. Why? Because the program made by our team and I am going to use one Windows operating system to run this program, right? So it is possible? No. Why not possible? If you want, so you need to discuss the Microsoft team, because you need to add your program to this kernel. Which kernel? Windows kernel, right? Windows kernel, but it's a lengthy process. Suppose you are using, suppose you are going to download any software from the Google, right? And after downloaded this software, one pop-up you will get, definitely pop-up. What kind of pop-up? Please restart your system. Definitely in the case of Windows, because there is a security mention, right? So you need to restart your system. But if you want change your setting, definitely you cannot see, because in Windows kernel you cannot see the code what programmer or developer written in particular program, you cannot see, right? So whatever, if you are using Windows 11, whatever the features is available in Windows, definitely you need to use whatever inside the build, inside the kernel. But if you want add your features, or you are the vast level of the developer, you want add your program, it is possible? No, because it's not the open source, you cannot see the source code of the Windows kernel. But in the case of Linux kernel, it's a free open source. You can see the source code of the developer mentioned or made by some program, because in Windows kernel there is also program made by the developer, right? But we cannot see, only only Microsoft team developer they can see or changes or modify. Definitely we cannot do. But in this Linux kernel, it's a open source. Whatever developer mentioned in this particular kernel, you can see the source code. Or if you want modify this source code, yes, you can modify or you can change. We have an option. These are the flexibilities. It is possible? Yes, possible. Free, open source. You are working guy, a lot of company, because it's free, they are using the open source code of the kernel made by Linus Torvald, because it's free, we can use. Also we can sell in the market. Yes, but how we can sell in the market, this is also important. And this is also secure, means highly security apply in this particular kernel. And multi-user multitask, right? Go in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, at the time of you need to print, only single user can single task, not the multi-user task is there. But in this you can use multi-user multitask. Simple. So if I am using this terminal, see, I am using ls command, I am getting this output. Who is responsible to provide this output? Kernel, right? Kernel, what is kernel? Heart of the operating system. If you are using any command, if you are giving any input, suppose I am using this ls command. What is the size of ls command? Suppose 2 GB. I am interacting with the hardware. But suppose the size of this ls command is 2000 GB. It is possible? No. I will get some error and it will show in this terminal bash or whatever. So we will see particular output. So who will manage? Who this managed by the kernel. So what is the responsibility of the kernel? So main function of the kernel is memory management, right? File management, right? Security management, right? Disk management, right? These are the responsibility of the kernel. Suppose interviewer asks, what is the main purpose of kernel and the use case of the kernel? Memory management, file management, disk management, security management, everything managed by the kernel in the case of Windows or in the case of Linux as well, right? So these are the duties. But now come to the point. Multi-user multitasking, now we are using Red Hat, right? Or you heard about the Red Hat. In the market there is an organization, MNC, multinational company, Red Hat software base. You know about the Red Hat? Or in 2015, 16, 17, a lot of booming course is Linux and Red Hats at that time. Now in 2025, 2026, there is a complete change the scenario. So in the market, Red Hat company just use this hardware or kernel. Linux kernel is a free, so definitely, so Red Hat company hire a different type of developer, okay, and these developer make some program like that ls command, cat command, touch command, pwd command, and after made this program they add their program in the kernel. Which kernel? Made by Linux Torvald. In this kernel they added their program and now they are selling in the market. Yes, but one thing you need to understand, Linux Torvald made this program or kernel, it's completely free open source. No one can apply the securities nowadays as well. So in the market, you know, heard about the Ubuntu, Debian, Fedoras, a lot of okay flavor is available. So in Linux, Red Hat, MNC based company, they hire the developers and developer write different program add in this kernel. Now selling in the market we have operating system Linux, not Linux, Red Hat OS, Linux OS, right? And there is a different version as well. So now they can sell their OS in the market. Now they can use Red Hat, Debian base or Ubuntu base, Fedora base operating system, Linux operating system, right? So these are the basic terms. Now a lot of company using 95% industry using command line interface, right? Linux. So you need to focus on Linux because free open source highly secure multi-user multitasking, no, but because is the command line interface you can perform more tasks and more flexibilities. These are the important, right? So you need to focus more and more, right? So these are the simple term why we need to learn the Linux and what is the main goal of the Linux, we need to learn this, right? This is important. But how you can learn these practical, definitely in another next episode I will create how to make an account or how to install, right? Two things I will discuss. Let me show you. Already I have a VMware software and in this program or in this software I will discuss all the basic commands from scratch level, right? You can see these are my Linux already I installed. These are my VMware software. In this software I install CentOS 9 is stream extreme, and already my machine is ready. So we will learn all the practical things in this particular machine. Or if you don't know how to make these labs, you can use AWS account, Azure cloud. There also you can perform particular lab as well, right? So make sure these are the important things. Okay, so I'm going to just create log in my AWS account. Just I'm going to show you from the next episode or from the next tutorial, we will learn how to learn all these basic commands. Basic to advanced level I will discuss, right? So these are the terminal. Okay, control shift plus plus, whatever the dashboard I will discuss each and everything, right? If you are living in different state, Bangalore, Chennai or Tamil Nadu or different so definitely you can learn a lot of things. We will discuss in a depth level from the basic to scratch level, right? So we will learn about all these things. Okay, see, I'm using one ls command, I'm getting output. This is the kernel. Suppose I am using htopst, this is the no any command is available, right? So I'm getting output. Who provided by these output? Kernel. What is the responsibility of kernel? Memory management, file management, disk management, security management. These are the important things of the kernel, right? So suppose if someone is asking about the kernel, Linux, what is the meaning of Linux? Linux is just the name of the kernel. And what is the function of kernel? So you can explain more things you can add here: memory management, file management, disk management, security management, right? These are the function of the kernel. Okay, so hope you understand all these things, and see you in the next video, and take care and bye bye.